approach us. And they'll say, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? What was that? Except as symptomatic of the kind of movie that in bicentennial time, 3,500 people involved in the movie industry thought was the great product of American movies. Way up? Yes. Oh, no, I don't think that there's anything wrong with taking film too seriously, or taking film seriously, or being interested in various aspects of film. Boy, this is the product of the 20th century, and it is one that indeed merits all our study in all its phases. My only point was not to think that there is more within a film than there really is. Time after time, I have seen students and laymen approaching directors with, oh, what did you mean by the water that was flowing through the brook? I know there's a symbol there. Could you tell me what it was? Or, what was the statement you were trying to make when you made this movie about boy meets girl, girl hates boy, boy hates girl, and then they live happily ever after? Of our constant feeling that somebody is making a statement, that somebody is using symbols, when 9 times out of 10, all the movie maker was aspiring to was to tell a good story that would entertain enough people so that they would tell other people who would then buy tickets so that his movie would be enough of a success so that somebody would say, okay, your last movie was a success, you can make your next movie, here is the money. And not every movie maker is planning on a work of art and planning on a collection of symbols and subtleties. And that really was what I meant, that frequently we just analyze movies to death. And we're all guilty of it. I remember early in my days when I was writing for the Herald Tribune, and Bosley Crowther was the critic for the New York Times, and a film called Muriel by Alain Resnais came out, and I loved it, and Bosley hated it. So of course I had to read his review very carefully, just to see how stupid he could be, and mumbling all the time, he's really lost his marbles. But then he really got the shiv into me, because he had been a critic for about 20 years more than I had. And he said, and among the other inanities in Muriel is the symbolism of the white horse on the cliffs. Well, that cut me to the quick, because I thought I understood Alain Resnais. I thought I understood that film. And damn it, I hadn't gotten the symbolism of the white horse on the cliffs. Well, as luck would have it, Alain Resnais was in this country. And a friend of mine told me that he was meeting him and Resnais's then companion, Delphine Seyrig, the beautiful star of Marienbad and so on. And I said, look, do me a favor. Will you get Alain Resnais either to phone me, which is sort of an imposition, or to tell you what was the symbolism of the white horse on the cliffs in Muriel? And the next day, Alain Resnais phoned me, and he said, I wanted to tell you personally the symbolism of the white horse on the cliffs. He said, we went to the livery stable, and we said, we need a horse today for the shooting. And they said, here is a horse. And it was a white horse. Rien plus. And that's exactly it. And I have just found that very often what we put into a movie, what we want to see. I have told directors what they have done in their movies and the symbols and the interpretations, and they sit there and they say, no kidding. Yeah, wow. I had my most embarrassing moment with the movie, my last boring story, with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I have long been an admirer of George Roy Hill, and ever since The World of Henry Orient, even before then, but it was the first movie of his that I reviewed, which I really consider. Do any of you know it? Have you seen The World of Henry Orient? It was a 60s movie, and it's pure enchantment, but also in the style of what he did. He really was an innovator in style. Anyway, we were having a weekend of his film, and we showed Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Well, one of the members in the audience said during the question and answer period, Mr. Hill, I am a great admirer of yours, and I thought that Butch Cassidy was such a stylish film. But I simply wondered why you used anything as hackneyed as the bandits dying in slow motion. You remember when there's the shootout, they've been waylaid by the bandits in the Latin American country, and they, Butch and Sundance shoot it out, and the bandits go through a kind of slow motion collapse. You know, they're shot and they sort of half float through the air. Not the finale, but this is in the middle of the picture. And George Hill said, "You caught me." He said, "That is the one unfortunate part in the film." He said, "Actually, I had wanted to be almost stop action, you know, with that kind of jiggly sequence that you saw in, well, like Keystone Cop, very fast, choppy action." And he said, I had set up a number of cameras in order to get it from a variety of angles. And when we finally looked at what had happened, it didn't work. And the only way I could compensate was by kind of blurring the whole thing into slow motion. But I was sorry that I had to go in for that by now cliched technique, I said. And the young film student was very happy. And I said, "Wait a minute. That's your version. Let me read you from Judith Crist's review of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, because I can take my humiliations publicly. Did I know he was covering up for a mistake? Of course not. I wrote, and George Roy Hill further distinguishes himself by using slow motion to a point and a purpose, because Butch Cassidy had never killed anyone before. Remember, that was a big point made in the movie, that he had never shot anyone. And this was the first time that he was shooting a human being. And Hill translates the emotions of the moment into the slow motion agony of the Mexicans as one after another they float through Butch's consciousness, taking forever to fall to the ground in his first shedding of blood. I never felt like such an ass in my life. But that is exactly what critics do, and it's exactly what the everymen who are their own critics do. And it's largely in the art of the beholder. And when I got finished reading this embarrassing public confessional, George Hill said, "I like it your way better than mine." So, yes. Yeah, well, can non-campus people come as well? Is it open to the community? Oh, let your community know. What was your first film? Whose is that? Whose film is that? Oh. Mm-hmm. I just didn't get an immediate shock of recognition when I heard the title. Okay?